guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rita. If you're new here, welcome. Before we get into the video, I would really appreciate it if you decide to subscribe. We talk about makeup, beauty, a little bit of lifestyle here in this channel. So if that sounds like something that you're interested, definitely consider subscribing. All you need to do is hit this little red button that says subscribe. While you're at it, be sure to also hit the little bell so you get notified every time I upload. Today we're gonna be trying for the very first time the newest Liza Eldridge additions to her makeup line. So these ones are the Lurex liquid eyeshadow. So the boxes are absolutely adorable. They're very small. They're the same boxes that she uses for her glosses, lip liners, and lipsticks, which I love that everything is very cohesive around her line. So I just picked 2 shades. She did come up with 5 new shades, ranging from a very light, kind of like taupey shade, which is the one that I got, and all the way to a black shadow. So these ones are gonna be liquid. They're very much kind of like metallic, shimmering shades. So those kind of one and done looks, which I absolutely love. Anything that's like a one and done shadow is going to be on my wish list. And of course, it's Liza Eldridge. If you're new to my channel, you probably don't know this, but I do have quite a collection of her lipsticks. I just love them. It's probably my favorite lipstick line in the industry. So I support Liza Eldridge. I did just get her new foundation, which is also right there. I really like the brand, but that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna, tell you my honest opinion or honest review whenever I'm talking about her products. So these eyeshadows are gonna retail for $27, and you can find them only in the Liza Eldridge website. If you're in the UK, you can still go into her pop-up studio or her pop-up store. I believe it's going to be open until New Year's Eve. So if you're in the UK, maybe you can just pop into the store, which would be such an incredible, happy experience. So sad that I am not on that side of the pond. But anyway, these ones are going to retail for $27, and they're gonna be 2.8 mils. So ounces, 0.009 fluid ounces. I was mentioning she did come up with 5 different shades. The first one called Angelica, which is the one that I got. Then one is gonna be called Bianca, which is a more kind of like pearlescent lavender shade. Then Diana, which is a more reddish copper shade. And then she has a more goldish called Lauren, which I was interested in this one, Lauren, but ended up just picking up 2. And then the very last one is gonna be Liza, which is the more blackish shade. The one that I had my eye on as soon as she released the video is gonna be Angelica. That just looks something that I would love. I feel like this range would have been so perfect if she had added some kind of brownish, bronzy, which I'm surprised she didn't, because whenever I think of like one and done eyeshadows, I feel like a bronze makeup look, it's kind of like a go-to for anyone, and it's such an easy, beautiful look. So I feel like that is kind of like missing in this collection, to have been a little more on point with like your classical and typical one and done eyeshadow looks. Boxes are going to be the same as her other products always come with, just beautiful white with the gold detailing. On the very back of each box, you're gonna get the full list of ingredients. On the top is going to be her logo and the name of the product, which in this case, this one is Angelica. Whenever you open it, you're gonna be getting, as soon as you open it, her logo once again. So I do love that everything is very cohesive around the line. And then you get a beautiful, very sleek bottle. This component is gonna be plastic, like hard plastic, just clear so you can see the actual shade that you purchased. And then it's gonna say Liza Eldridge, and then the gold lid, just like all her lipsticks. And on the very top, you get her logo once again. Now let's go ahead and try them for a very first time. Of course, I already have it on my eyes. I do have Angelica today, but we're gonna go ahead and do Angelica, and then we'll go for Liza. The makeup that I have underneath on each one of the videos is exactly what I always do, so I don't really use primer. I just wanted to mention that. I do have vitiligo on my skin, so the way I cover the white around my eyes, I do have 2 white big patches. I do go for my foundation, concealer, and then powder. So really, the powder and concealer on my eyelids serve as a primer, so I never use primer on my eyes. Only on my face, but not on my eyes, so the application of the eyeshadows is going to be the same. First, let's go ahead and try Angelica, which this is the one that I was most excited about. She came out with 5 different shades. This is the lightest out of the 5. Again, it's gonna be Angelica. It's described as a smoky topaz taupe with sparkling dimensions of silver, gold, violet green, and gold pearls. So I do have here my phone. Let's go ahead and try this. I'm going to apply the product directly with, you know, the tofu. It does come with a tofu applicator. You can see it right there. So probably easiest to apply just directly on the eyes, and then I'm just going to use my finger to blend. And I do have another little brush in here just in case I do need to go with the brush, which probably I will for like the crease and all that. So with whatever product is on the actual tofu, I'm just gonna apply it. As usual, my face is already done. I do have to do my cheek products, but like my base, foundation, concealer, and powder are done. I do put around my eyes concealer and powder, so that also serves as a primer. So let's go ahead and start blending this. That probably was a lot of product. Let me go ahead and blend with my finger. I think I used way too much. So I'm going to clean up my finger just a little bit and start blending the rest. This is not one of the metallic shades because she did bring out two different kind of like formulas. This Angelica and then another one that's lighter are not the metallic ones. She does have 3 more that are the metallics, which the other one that I got, the Liza, is metallic. So I'm going to use my brush here that I had, and I'm just going to start blending the edges. So this dried up super fast. So let me show you how it's looking with just the one coat. And I did just go with the brush like you saw and blended the edges. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit extra on the edge of the lid just to get into that crease. But now I'm going to be using my actual brush and start blending this, just blowing the crease out just a little bit. That was very easy, very fast, and honestly it looks very pretty. I really like it. It's not as taupey as I was thinking, which honestly I prefer because taupe shades don't look the best on me. I did just recently purchase one from Charlotte Tilbury that is very taupe and I like it, but it's not my favorite. It just, I feel like cool tones don't look as good on me, but this one looks very pretty. It doesn't look as taupe. I'm gonna add a little bit extra just here in the center, and with my finger, Romulus is going crazy. With my finger, I'm just going to blend this into the eye. I feel like blending with the finger definitely provides a bit more of that intensity and not shimmery, because this is really not shimmery, but that's more glowy look to it as opposed to grabbing my finger and blending. So I'm just gonna blend a little bit the edges. So yeah, here we go. One eye with Angelica, the new Luxe Eyeshadow. It's called Liquid Lurex. I don't really know how to pronounce that. But yeah, here's the eye with Angelica and here is with nothing. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing. I'm gonna apply directly on my eye. And I haven't added any additional product. This is just what came as I pulled it out of the component. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this everywhere. You don't have a lot of time to work with the shadows, so you kind of have to move fast, which could be a bit of a downside if you don't have a lot of playtime, which is not ideal. But it's not too bad actually. This shade is very forgiving, I feel. Maybe the darker one would create a little bit more issue because it is black, but this one just seems very easy to blend. And yeah, that's basically everything. It is super, super pretty. Same thing, I'm just gonna add a little extra to just blend with my fingers. And now I'm just going to go directly with my brush and I'm going to run this on my lower lashes just to tie up the look a little bit more. Here we have the eyes with only Angelica. This is an eyeshadow that I feel like could very easily be mixed with either powder shadows or maybe other cream shadows that I have. As is right now, I'm just gonna leave them like that. I will just go ahead and add mascara. I don't think I want to add any eyeshadow. I'm looking at the mirror and I think it looks good like that. So I'll just go ahead and add lots of mascara and some inner corner highlight because that is a must. This is not really a shade that I would go for inner corner. It's just a little too dark for my liking. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab whatever, just powder shadow, and just add it here. and then tons of mascara, and then I'll be back to show you the final look. But so far I'm really liking it. As you saw, it was very easy to blend either with finger or with a brush. I do find it better, or found it better to just on the crease go in with just a synthetic, more kind of like flatter brush and just blend away. So this is the darkest shade, so I'm gonna try to go easy because I don't know how much pigmentation or how intense this is going to be. So I have nothing on my eyes, just my my foundation, concealer, and powder. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this directly. That is very pretty. So I'm kind of like just blending with the same tofu, but now I'm gonna go, now I'm gonna go with my finger and I'm going to start blending this into the eyes. Okay, yeah, so that dried up super fast, so I'm gonna apply a little bit extra, and I'm just going to also blend with my finger. I want to do one eye with one finger and then the other eye with the brush, but we'll see how the edges on this eye are looking. I'm gonna go in with the brush because this is not working as good as I wanted it, so I'm just gonna start blending with the brush. You have very little time to play with this, which can be complicated if you don't know what you're doing with the eyeshadows in general, or if you just don't have a brush in hand. It didn't go as well with my finger, so I just wanted to go in with a brush. Okay, so this is what it's looking like with you know, initial application with the product and then blending with my finger, and then eventually on the crease I did blend a little bit with the brush. I'm going to add a bit more here right on the crease and go back into my brush to blend out the crease. That crease is looking much better. Now I'm going to add whatever is remaining on my lid, and with the same brush I'm just going to dab it a little bit just to make sure that it's blended correctly. I'm actually gonna go with my finger instead. That's what it's looking like. It looks like I have a little patch in the center, so I'm just going to add a little extra and don't want to touch it. So that's what it's looking like after applying directly with this, adding the brush, using my finger, basically all the methods of application. So here it is, just looking straight. I did apply extra product, so this is kind of like what it looks like with additional product. This could definitely be a little bit lighter if you don't add as much. So let's go ahead and do that on this eye. I'm just gonna go ahead and start applying this like a one coat, I guess. And again, you have to act very fast because there is very little time to blend, which I'm not gonna lie, it's not my favorite thing. I wish you had a little more extra time to play with it, just because once it's set, it looks like it's not gonna be able to move. So I'm gonna show you up close. This is the one that we've already done, but this eye that I just applied, as you saw, the product directly and then blended with the brush, did leave a little bit in the center. You can see there's a little bit of patchiness, and the crease itself, I didn't blend it as well or as good. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back into the product. This is just with one application, like I didn't go back and do anything else. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply a little bit extra. I feel like my hands are gonna end up being super stained, but that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit here in the center, and same thing, I'm gonna add more on my crease and closer to the inner corner. So now going back to that same brush, by the way, this is a Fenty Beauty brush. This is number 230 blending brush. And I'm going to start blending out the crease, just blowing it out a little bit more so it looks better. Okay, now that is looking much better, just with adding a little bit extra. So I don't think that you can actually just add a little bit and then call it a day, because I feel like it looks a little bit patchy until you add a little extra. I'm gonna go ahead and now with a smaller brush, I'm not gonna go directly on my under eyes because I feel like it'll be a lot of product. I'm just going to grab a little bit of this and apply it on the brush, and now run this on my lower lashes like that. This is going to be definitely a smoky eye. I wanted to try this shade because I don't really have a lot of shades like this to begin with, and especially nothing that I could just create a smoky eye faster. Okay, so here is the eyeshadow, just the eyeshadow. I didn't add any mascara. I still have to go and add some mascara, but I feel like there were a couple of little patches here and there. I tried to fix them, but sometimes patches just, I feel like sometimes whenever you get a patchy eyeshadow or a patchy situation, if you try to go back and add more product or blend more, it kind of just keeps getting patchier and patchier. We're all done with the makeup and the eyeshadow. All I did was add some eyeliner. I did use the Rare Beauty Perfect Strokes. This is going to be a liquid liner, black. And for mascara, I did use the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Lashes. So let me get a little bit closer so you can take a better look at the eyes. I feel like overall it looks pretty good. I'm not entirely sure how I feel just yet about this eyeshadow. This is the very first time that I use it. I still have yet to try the other one. I did purchase two, but so far I'm liking it. I feel like it's an easy way to do a fast, pretty, black, smoky eye. I feel like also once applied on your eyes and blended, it definitely does not look as intimidating as, you know, whenever you just see the product, because it does look pretty black on the actual component. But once applied, I feel like it almost gives a bit of a grayish, dark blue. Like, it doesn't look straight up black, which I do like. So as you saw on these two videos, the application can be a little bit tricky, at least for me, with Liza. I found that this blackish, almost like silvery shade was just a little bit patchy. I didn't love it 100%. So I feel like it just created a little bit of patchiness. I don't know if it's because of the dark, you know, the fact that it's a black shade, because I didn't find that with Angelica. Angelica is the lighter one, the one that I'm wearing today right now. So I did like them both, but this one is not gonna be my favorite. I'm not too familiar with smoky black eyeshadows, so maybe that's what happened. But I went on with my finger and then I went on with a brush, and I felt like as I was adding more product, it just became a little bit more patchier. So this I wouldn't recommend unless you're like too familiar and very okay or comfortable with using black eyeshadow. Maybe give it a try, but for me that's not like my everyday thing, or it's not something that I particularly know or, you know, master that technique of like a black eyeshadow, like a black smoky eyeshadow look. This is not gonna be my favorite. I'm glad that I got it, and I'm glad that I have it in my collection to try it. And also because, like I just mentioned, like I'm not too into smoky eyes, I wanted to have an eyeshadow that I could just go ahead and do an easy and fast one eye and done smoky eye, especially because usually my smoky eyes are gonna be more brownish, so I definitely needed something more in the black range. We're leaving the best for last. I definitely love Angelica. I felt like it was very easy to apply. I had no patchiness. I went with my finger, applied it all over, blended it with a brush. It was just so much easier. Again, I don't know if this is because of the shade, that this is definitely darker and you can see everything more. But even, you know, when I took my pictures that I always do and then, you know, looked at everything looked very smooth, no patches. So Angelica, I definitely recommend. These are the only two that I can speak of because, again, she does have 5 more shades, or like 3 more that I didn't get, so I don't know how those perform. Both of them were relatively easy to just apply directly with the tofu. I feel like that's the best application, initial application, just kind of like apply it with the product itself, like with the actual little wand, apply it on your eye, and then just go ahead and move on with blending either with finger all over your lid. And I found that the best application or method of blending for me was this synthetic flat brush, because I just went easily with my brush into my crease and blended that out, you know, very easily and very fast. That's another thing about these eyeshadows. I did notice it a little bit more with the black one. The blending time is very fast. So the product doesn't give you a lot of time to play with it and to blend, so it'll dry out pretty fast. I'm glad I was able to try both shades, but I'm not going to lie, Liza had some issues, so I wouldn't recommend it. I'm happy to keep it and have it in my collection because it is an easy and fast way to just do a black smoky eye. I have yet to try it with like kind of like using powder shadows either like underneath or on top, just kind of like maybe use this as a base. I have to play a little bit more with the shadow to tell you 100% how I feel about it, but as a first impression, which this video is a first impression, I didn't particularly love Liza, but I really love Angelica, which is the one that I have. I want to show you real quick a picture that I took yesterday when I was trying Liza with a full face. I was already done with the makeup. You can see very clearly the patch right there on the very top corner on the eye. No, you can't really see it once, you know, I'm not looking down. Like on the eyes, it looks very nice, but if you kind of like zoom it in and look at the crease, that's a patch that I was already trying to fix, but it just, I felt like the more that I was trying to fix it, the worse it was looking, so I kind of like just, you know, gave it a rest and left it as is. I don't think that's gonna be super noticeable on like your regular everyday life, especially because you're not really like walking around and people are taking pictures of your crease, but just something to mention. It is a pretty expensive eyeshadow, so I was expecting the same quality as I got in Angelica, which is just beautiful, and there was no patches, at least nothing visible that I could actually see in any pictures that I took. One last thing to mention, I did use Liza yesterday for almost a little bit more than 7 hours, and there was no budging, there was no moving an eyeshadow. So if you have more oily eyelids, I feel like you would really enjoy the shadows because they will stay on your eyes and they won't move. To the point that whenever I remove my eyeshadow, I had to use one of those more oily makeup removers. Liza does recommend that whenever you remove it, you use one of those, I think they're called like bifacial, bi something, I don't know, you know, the kind that you have to like mix together, and they're very oily. That's how I removed my eyeshadow, and I had no issue whenever I did, you know, just use that product. I don't know how it would go if I just remove it with like my regular makeup remover, but if she recommends to do it like that, that's what I went on and did. So you can rest assured that your eyeshadow is not gonna budge throughout the day. Like I mentioned, Liza was a little bit over 7 hours, and Angelica, it's just been like 2 hours. So I really can't tell you how this is gonna last, but I don't see them being any different in that aspect. Okay, you guys, so that's gonna be everything for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you picked any of the shadows. If you did like different than me, let me know how you like them. Should I get any of them, any others? Or if you got Liza, did you experience the same issues that I had? Definitely let me know because I am very interested. Like always, if you did enjoy it, please give it a big thumbs up and be sure to hit the little subscribe button before you leave, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!